Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our third webinar of the year. Welcome to our third webinar of the year. It's a pleasure to have each and every one of you here with us. And with me today, presenting is Disleve, and he's going to be talking on a topic, launching your data career in healthcare, essential steps and strategies. So if you're not aware, this is a program sponsored, or this is a webinar series sponsored by DataLab Analytics, consulting and training data analytics organization based in Nigeria. We are currently working on several great projects that cut across several fields in analytics. And we are also committed to training the next level of data scientists in various subfields. And I am Ezinwani Aka. I am also a data scientist and a machine learning engineer here at DataLab. And we are very happy to have each and every one of you. So I'm going to be handing over to Mr. Disleve. He's going to give more introduction about himself and what he does, and also take us further in what he has prepared for us today. So Mr. Disleve, over to you.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Disleve Kanku. I'm a data engineer at Dana Farber Cancer Institute here in Boston, where I basically help the team with building data pipelines for the researchers and like data management systems. So I have a presentation. I'll be sharing my screen. Just a second. Can everyone see that?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay. So the topic is launching your data career in healthcare, the essential steps and strategies. So first, I'll start off with the personal introduction. Like I mentioned, my name is Disleve Kanku, and I am a data engineer. And in terms of educational background, I just recently graduated last week with my master's degree in data science from Northeastern University. And I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Kansas State University. And with this presentation, I'll basically be going through a professional journey overview of how I changed from mechanical engineering to get more involved into a healthcare data profession. So like I mentioned, for educational background and skills development. So I got my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and I got introduced to the field of data science and healthcare data during my junior year, where I started working as a research assistant at a bioinformatics lab. And this kind of gave me hands-on experience of the connection between biology and data science. And this also opened my eyes to computational techniques which we can use to analyze biological data and extract meaningful insight. This also gave me a new passion on data, because I think with data we can solve a lot of problems and we can gain a lot of information on things that we didn't know before. So after doing my research at the lab, I decided to chase the data science professional certificate, because I wanted to learn more about data science. I was interested in this field. So I was interested, how can I learn more about this? So IBM and Coursera have this professional training program, which I completed. And this covered a wide range of topics. For example, machine learning, data analysis, data visualization. And this also improved some of my technical skills. After attending this program, I started getting hands-on experience on like Python, Jupyter Notebook, and basic programming. And also, after completing the data science program, one of the modules in the certification program was a data engineering program. And coming from an engineering background, this is what stood out for me. So basically, data engineering, data scientists work with the data, but data engineers build the pipeline to get the data to the data scientists. So we basically build the architecture and the infrastructure This is what stood out to me. So after completing the IBM professional certificate, there's a program, the Correlation One Data Engineering Program, DS4A. It's a very good program, and this was the first of its kind, the first data engineering cohort, because they usually have a data science cohort, but this is the first of data engineering cohorts, because this was a time when data engineering was also becoming more popular, more people were interested in data engineering. So I was part of this cohort, and this is where I learned about data integration, data ingestion, data pipelines, database management systems, and also learned skills, for example, SQL and cloud computing. In terms of professional experience, so after graduating, so I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2022. And then in the summer of 2022, I had an internship at Ascend Learning. This is an e-learning company in Kansas City. So basically, this company make learning materials for nurses. Nurses have to take certification exams in order to be fully certified nurses. So basically, what my internship involved was just using data science to improve educational outcomes. So we use data to learn from how students were responding to these exams, how students were excelling. And with data science, we try to predict what can we improve, basically like feature engineering. What more features do we need to add in order to increase the success rate of the students? And then after that internship in 2022, I decided that I wanted to keep learning more about data science. The certification, I felt that it gave me a little taste of data science, but I'm a type of person where I like to, when I learn something, I like to generally go into the depth and the detail of everything. So I decided to go back to grad school and get my master's degree. So while getting my master's degree, I also got a research assistantship position at the Precision Medicine Lab at Northeastern University, because I was genuinely interested in the healthcare side of data. So working with healthcare data and solving problems related in that field. So that's why I focused on getting a research assistantship in a lab that focused on that kind of work, where my research usually involved building machine learning pipelines and machine learning algorithms to make predictions in terms of cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and like different treatment responses. And then in the summer of after a couple semesters of my master's degree, so this was last summer in 2023, had my first data engineering internship, and this was at AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca is a drug company. They make several drugs, and they were also one of the big companies that made the COVID vaccine. So I had this internship, and I wanted to use this internship as kind of compare which one I was more passionate about, data science or data engineering, because I've already had data science internship and data science experiences. So I did my data engineering internship where I contributed to building data pipelines for the drug discovery teams. I also helped build new databases and database migration. So basically moving data from one database to a cloud database. And so throughout my experience, some skills that I learned, essential skills, not skills, well, for healthcare data professionals, throughout my time and my journey, I learned skills that I believe are essentials for data professionals. Definitely data engineering. By data engineer, I mean learning how to work with database. Because as a data professional, you usually work with a lot of data in different format. This can be CSVs. This can be from Oracle database, from SQL databases. So having that skill of being able to extract data from a database, that is that I believe that is an important technical skills. And machine learning and data pipelines, those kind of depend on which side of data you want to work with. There's the data engineering, you have data analysis, you have the data science. So depending on which side, which kind of data professional you want to be, there's different technical skills that are required. For example, for data science, that's when you require more machine learning more models like random forest, logistic regression, just to name a few. And data analysis, I believe, is more visualization like Tableau, Power BI, and learning how to analyze the data and like tell a story from the data. And soft skills that I believe every data professional needs is communication. You have to learn how to communicate with stakeholders, with non-tech professionals. Because on my day-to-day job, the stakeholders that I work with, some of them can't understand the code that we're writing. They can't understand data migration from one database to another one. So you have to learn how to communicate and make it easily digestible for them. Also collaboration, because you work with a lot of different people, especially as a healthcare data professional. There's different labs that you might be working with, different, for example, doctors or different teams. And problem solving too, and that is also a very important soft skill. So how to gain these essential skills. So for me, in terms of technical skills, before my experiences, before my internship experience, I learned technical skills through doing Kaggle projects, doing personal projects. Really helps a lot. It also allows you to have something to showcase when you're doing interviews, because you get to show the recruiter or the hiring manager that you were able to work on a task by yourself. You solve the problem and you're able to explain that problem. You're able to make a presentation out of it. I definitely recommend personal projects, and also constantly looking for opportunities where you can learn more, like training opportunities. Like they have a few development opportunities. Earlier, end of last year, I did a program with Kaggle, which basically helped me also improve my data science skills. Yemi was actually my mentor in the program, and that program provided me with a place to learn new skills and be able to present the skill that I learned. So I believe that's the way to showcase your skills. You have to learn and find a way to explain what you've learned. And career strategies for beginners. As a beginner starting into healthcare data, I think the first step should always be you have to be a person who wants to learn, especially in the data world. We have new tools basically every day, especially with AI. We all know how AI is constantly advancing, and it's advancing at a faster rate than we can process the information. There's so much information out there in the world and different ways to collect information now. So to stay on top of that, you have to be willing to learn a skill that most people don't have. Whether it's boot camps, online courses, or going to school to get a degree, you have to be the kind of person you want to learn. And you also have to gain practical experiences. These experiences are through internship programs or volunteering or just working with some kind of real world data. For example, one thing which I did with for practical experience, I remember a couple of years ago. So I used to take Uber a lot. So I collected all the data that I used from Uber, and I kind of built a pipeline which predicted which times I took Uber the most. And that was real world data, which I used my own personal data. And also fostering relationships. In the industry, they say it's not what you know, it's who knows you. And in the data world, as the world is expanding, definitely building good relationships, having a good network of people that can help you propel your career and help you learn. So basically, the key takeaway is that I encourage everyone for who's taking the step to learn or to become a healthcare data professional. The world of data is changing, and the world of AI, and especially in a field like healthcare, there'll be a lot of position, a lot of need for people who can understand EHR data, people who can understand healthcare data and be able to tell a story, people who can build infrastructures and pipelines to process the data, people who can find different ways to visualize all this data. And learning all those skills, it takes time, it takes discipline, but at the end of the day, I think this is what leads to innovation, it's what leads to bettering health management system and contributing to the world. So I think this was my last slides. Yep. Any question?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. I was, I know when I was saying, when you were giving your presentation about, where you did your internship,
Mhm.
name was quite familiar. I was trying to remember where I saw AstraZeneca, and
Mhm.
I as you mentioned COVID-19, then I just remembered they are one of the
Yeah.
biggest suppliers of COVID-19 virus. Then yeah,
Yeah.
so just clicked. Did you by any chance work on anything related to that
To
in
the
your
code.
yeah?
No. I worked on a team that made drugs for cancer.
For
Because they
cancer?
also
Oh,
make, yes. So even currently work is still cancer. So for me, I want to use data to basically not solve cancer, but find different ways we can learn more about cancer. So the team that I worked on, the main problem that which we tried to solve was trying to find different ways we can make cancer medication. Because with cancer medication, there's a problem where you have to find molecules which you can make medicine, basically drugs. But that process takes time, it takes money. But if you can build a machine learning algorithm to do this for you, this saves a lot of time and money. But in order to have the machine learning algorithm, you need the data. In order to have the data, you need an infrastructure, you need a pipeline which can connect data from different labs. And as a company, they didn't have that. Well, they had it, but it wasn't as robust. So that's what basically my internship involved.
okay. If anyone has any question, please you can put it on the chat, and we'll get to it and respond to those questions. So please, if you have any question, please do well to put them on the chat so that we can pass them on to the speaker. But before any questions come in, I have one or two questions of my own. For people that are thinking of getting into something similar, let's say health analytics,
Mhm.
do you think they need to have any basic knowledge of anything related to health, or is it like a learn on the job kind of thing that they should just know the data science analytics part of it, and when if they get into the job, then they can learn whatever they need to learn, or is there anything that they need to like get on first of all before they get into the job? Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely something you learn on the job. For me, the last health related class I took or biology class I took was in high school. And I was in high school a long time ago. So so it's definitely something you learn on the job, but it also takes like you also have to understand like some of the terms, some of the medical terms. But that comes from like, learning on the job, sometimes reading a couple articles. So that's what learning on the job basically means in this field. You have to sometimes read, you have to push yourself to read an article. For example, there's a term which you don't know, a type of cancer or a type of medicine that you don't know, a type of drug. So to learn on the job requires you to do that research to learn. With this kind of field, data engineering, healthcare data, it's a field where you have to continuously learn things because there's always new discoveries, but you
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to have knowledge prior to getting to it. I didn't have any knowledge about biology, nothing.
Okay. So that means basically you just need to be somebody that is very open to learning and
Yeah.
researching also, finding
Yes.
out. Yes. Okay, that's good. We have a question here. Somebody said you mentioned being a lifelong learner. What was your most impactful tool or learning method? So what tool did you use to learn, or what learning method helped you the most? Yeah.
Okay. So I'll start with impactful tool. So for me, I learned a lot from like online resources, especially for transitioning from mechanical engineering to data science, data engineering. I learned a lot on online from Coursera and YouTube. YouTube helped me learn how to program. I learned how to code from YouTube. I remember just watching YouTube videos like 4 hours a day just to get into it. And also during my undergrad, like I mentioned, I got into this field my junior year, which is my third year. And then, so after I was done with my engineering classes, I would like go inside like the data science class, just audit. Although I wasn't a student in the data science program, I would just go there just to learn, just to actively be there and like pick up some of the words. I'd even like do the homeworks just to know what they're talking about. So that's definitely in terms of tool, YouTube and online resources helped me a lot. and learning method that helped me, I would say, just videos and doing it yourself. Especially with learning how to code, you have to do it yourself. You can't just watch a video. You also have to write up a code.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. That's really insightful. You mentioned that you also did a few internships, one or two internships. Like, how much you think carrying out an internship helps for somebody like transitioning? What will you gauge the impact of being able to get on an internship in being job ready and being able to switch careers?
Mhm. I think internships. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, I think internships are very helpful, very impactful because it puts you in that professional setting and they give you a project. Usually the internship can vary for 3 months, 6 months. So for 3 months, you have one project and you have seniors that are helping you work on this project. So they're helping you develop a skill. And besides that skill you develop, you also networking. You're working with seniors that can also become part of your professional network. And when it's time for you to look for a job, you can refer back to them, tell them, hey, I worked on this project. I'm looking for this kind of job and I have the skill because I learned under you. You taught me the skill. So I think internship, even here at school, they always encourage us to look for internship, especially as a person who is still new to the field. The internship also gives you the opportunity to decide if you like the field or not, because you don't want to just get into the field and realize that it's not for you. So the internship allows you an opportunity to kind of like try it and see if you like it or not. For example, like I mentioned how I tried both data science and data engineering internships to see which one I like more. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that response. Yes, that's very true. Internship like kind of exposes you, and it's
Yeah.
great. It's great to have this kind of experience. Um, as an organization that operates training, one of the questions we have frequently from people that come to do training with us in data science is, how well recognized are your certificates? And one thing about the tech field and certificates, some people say it's very good to get a lot of certificates. Some people say certificates are not really that important.
Mhm.
What would you say? How would you rate the importance of having certificates? Let's say in comparison to having projects under your belt, so doing things stuff practically.
Mhm.
Or what would you rate? How would you like gauge them?
Yeah, I think having a certificate is definitely important because it shows you took the extra step to learn and you finished something and you have something to prove. You have a piece of paper to prove that you started something and you finish it. And I think most hiring managers are looking for that because that also says a lot about your character, that you're a person who can start a task and finish it. So that's why I encourage certificate. And also for my first internship, um, the certificate helped me a lot because it was a certificate that was from IBM, and coming in as a person with no experience, it kind of shows the recruiter that, okay, you went out of your way to learn this and now you're looking for skills. So you can have projects, and with projects also fine, but it's another thing to consider. You can go on Kaggle, you can have 100 people with the same project, so you're not really standing out. For example, like some common projects in Kaggle, we have house price prediction, breast cancer prediction. Those are very
Right.
common. Yeah, you can have 100 people do the same thing, and you can just copy what other people did. But when it comes to certification, you have something else to show. It's also a character thing that I think you show.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that's very true. Certification shows that you actually have the discipline to put your head down and learn something, and the
Yep.
discipline to finish it through, not just like you start something and you don't finish it,
Yep.
and everything. That's also very important. Um, let me see. Do we have any other uh question? Okay, somebody has a question. It says you talked about having a mentor. Um, I have realized that mentorship is a much needed asset at every facet of life. How can you find the right mentor for the right kind of tech knowledge?
Definitely reaching out to people. I'm a big believer throughout my life. I have a mentor for everything. When I was in engineering, mechanical engineering, I had a mentor at school for that. And now I'm in a professional setting. I reached out to my old professor and asked him to be my mentor. And when it comes to tech, you just have to reach out to people in that field. For example, like I mentioned, Yemi is my mentor. He was assigned to me as part of the program which I did with Kaggle, the data science training program. So that's also another way to find a mentor depending on the role that you want. For example, like the tech mentor, if, for example, what's her? Tayo wants a mentor for data analysis, the next step would be maybe join a data analysis networking community on LinkedIn. I know they have those on LinkedIn. You have multiple communities on LinkedIn and Reddit. I myself am part of the data engineering community on LinkedIn. So you can reach out to people. You have people that are seniors. You have people that are managers and directors. You can reach out to them and tell them, hey, you did this. I'm trying to learn. People are always willing to help. That's one thing I've noticed about this community of data. You always have someone who knows more than you and who's willing to teach. So
Okay, thank you very much for that answer. Yes, having a mentor, it's very great. Yeah. And it might interest you to know that I was also on the Kaggle X program. I was also a mentor in the last set. Yeah,
nice.
yeah. So so now speaking of since we started talking about mentorship, uh, what will you also say about networking? How do you advise people that are coming into the field to go about networking?
Oh, you always have to network, especially in this field. You have to reach out to people. Like if there's conferences, try to attend. If there's events where there's people that you can let them know who you are, definitely try to attend. Even online, for example, this is a networking opportunity. I'm thinking of it as a networking opportunity. You can go online on LinkedIn. There's a few events, healthcare data analysis event where you have, for example, a director from AstraZeneca doing a presentation on their recent project. You attend that event, and there's other people from the company that work there. Just like people who are asked, for example, like the people who are asking questions in this chat, that's also a way to network. So I think networking is a very important skill that you should have, not just in the data field, but just like as a professional.
So like how apart from sites like LinkedIn and stuff, um where for networking, is there any way somebody can build like or can be part of communities? How do people get engaged in communities that can also help us? I know communities also help development and stuff like that. So how would you suggest that people get engaged in communities?
Yeah, I think that depends on also the communities you have available around you. For example, here at my school, we have communities of engineers. I'm a member of a community of the National Society of Black Engineers. So that is a big community, which is just Black engineers from all over the country. So we meet for conferences once a year, and it's a national conference. When we meet, we get together, we meet with different people of different levels. And at school, I'm also part of another community. I'm in the community of the National Society of Black Computer Scientists. So that is another community that I'm also part of. So it all depends on the communities that are available to you.
Okay, that's great. As we get, sorry, can you still hear me clearly?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, okay, great. Um, Now somebody's asking about networking outside the workspace, and I probably we have already talked about networking, but let me kind of put it in this other way. Um, for people that are maybe actively working in another field and trying to navigate or switch path into other field, how would you, well, how would you advise them to go about it? Um, Especially people that are still working somewhere and they are looking at this other field and say, no, I think I have a passion for this, and I think this is something that I might want to change to in the future. What kind of advice would you give to them in carrying out that switch successfully?
To definitely reach out. Let's say you're a chef and you want to get into data science and machine learning. Find people who are in that field. Set up a time to meet with them. Reach out. For example, one thing I did a lot last year or a couple years ago when I was learning more about data science, trying to get an internship and put myself in the place, I reached out to people on LinkedIn all the time. I'm like, hey, I'm a student at this place. I'm really interested to learn more from you. Can you tell me what you do in your day-to-day life as a data scientist at AstraZeneca? You reach out to 10 people, 2 of them get back to you. And then you have a meeting and they tell you more information, what you want to hear. But it's also better to talk to people who are in that position.
So, I think that's very great information. Thank you very much. Let me go through the chats. Do we still have any more questions? Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. It was really nice having you, Ms. Kanku, Disleve, and thank you for sharing with us
Yeah, for sure.
the experience and giving us insights into how the strategies for people switching to the health data science. It has really been a wonderful experience, and we have really learned a lot from you joining us today. So accept our deepest gratitudes. For our guests, our students that's joined in the webinar, thank you very much for being part of this, and I hope that you have all learned a lot. This video will also be made available on our YouTube channel so that you can always go and reference it from time to time in case you want to get you want to refresh your memory on things that have been said, and just to have a record of it so that you can always go back to it and get more clarity when needed. Do well to also follow some of our channels both on LinkedIn and on YouTube so that you can get more information on future webinars and future training programs. Thank you once again, Mr. Disleve. Thank you everyone for coming, and do have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you for the invite. It was fun. And here's my LinkedIn and my Medium information for anyone who wants to connect.
Please remember, networking is very important. So
it's important. It's important.
good night, everyone.
All right. Thank you.